so that we're recording now, so that anybody who misses the class can see this asynchronously on YouTube. I will send out and show you guys where to find the links to the YouTube videos for this class. Welcome to Art 244. My name is James Fritz. I am the last man standing. I am the full-time art professor here at the college. I'm an associate professor of art at the college. And during the pandemic, we lost a lot of our part-time instructors because it was too dangerous to have them try to teach in-person classes. So right now I am the art department. Hopefully we'll be able to build back better our art department next fall when we get that going. And so welcome everybody. Let me just go through the clipboard, the list, and see who's all here today. So I got it. It doesn't come in. You guys are not alphabetized here. So Wilson, Abigail, Abby, welcome. And hey, Adriana Misa is here. Welcome to you too. And Alyssa Smokey is here someplace. Apologizing if I'm butchering your names. I'm kind of reading them for the first time. Amanda is here. There we go. And Aurora's here. Okay, if I can find you. Oh, you are down here because you're on the wait list. So you're at the bottom of the list. Sorry. And Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn. Uh-oh. First names only. Okay, that makes it a little bit harder to find you, but I will find you somehow eventually in here. There we go, Brooklyn. Okay, gotcha. And Fiona Murphy. Okay, there it is over here. Gotcha. And Josie is somewhere up here. Yay. Okay, and Kylie is here. Welcome to ya. Maddie Kaneko is, where are you? I saw you before. There we go, right there. Yay, welcome. McKenna is there. And Robert is here. And Will is there. Okay, so let's see. So far, I haven't missed anybody on the list, but I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4 people are not checked.
Mr. Fritz,
Hello.
so sorry. Hi.
Hi.
We got some players from the volleyball team that are in your class. I emailed you about our practice schedule and might show up late.
Yeah.
But there's 3 of us here, so that's
okay.
Probably us missing a little bit of class.
Okay, no problem. Well, people will be able to get caught up. This is the boring day. This is going over the syllabus. This is the first day of the quarter, which is death by PowerPoint or death by syllabus. And I'll try not to make it that bad, but we do have to talk about some stuff. So let me do some things to shake it up a little bit. I'm going to do a screen share and take you into my Laker link. If you haven't been in there yet for this class, I was just throwing this class together today and just got like the student view authorized and a few other things like bells and whistles turned on so that now it's live, because it's all of us who teach face-to-face classes and are not used to doing online classes. We've been doing this for 4 quarters now during this pandemic, and we're still trying to figure out this clunky, stupid e-learning platform that we're teaching on. So I know that it's not fun and it's not the greatest looking e-learning platform, but it does have the information that we need. So let me go to screen share and I'm going to hit that button and I'm going to go over here to, where are you? Why are you not here? I don't know. Try this one. Yeah, it's up here somewhere. I just have to move some of the toolbars out of the way so I can find it. How about this one? How about this one? Bronze casting. Okay, we're in. So now I have to go back. I have to come back to you guys, and then I have to refresh the screen share again and go to the one that I was just at. Okay, so let's go to this one and hit the share button. Okay, so I am in my Laker link right now for Art 244 bronze casting, and I just built this page for the YouTube class recordings. So over here on the left-hand side where all of the tabs are, there is a tab down here at the bottom that says YouTube class recordings. You can click on that to get to this page, and then there will be links to all of the YouTube videos that we record for this class. So this will be a go-to place for that kind of stuff in case you miss a class or whatever. I'm going to try to do this class. Let's see, I'm trying to think and navigate at the same time. I'm going to try to do this class as a synchronous class. So I want to be able to meet with you guys synchronously at 6 o'clock in the evening on Monday and Wednesday night, the regular scheduled times for this class to meet. I put out a video this morning that said that I was hopeful, and I am hopeful, that we only have to quarantine for about a week and that then we can meet in person for this class. I am a little bit less, I'm a little doubtful of that right now because we are in Coos County. Coos County is the only county in Oregon that is still in the extreme classification for the pandemic. And so our transmission rate is too high to allow that to happen. So we're going to see what happens in a week or so. Stay tuned. Once the governor reduces the threat level in our county from extreme down to something less than that, either high risk or moderate risk, we can definitely kind of come in and start meeting together as a class. Last quarter, when I did bronze casting, I made up little toolkits and wax kits for everybody. I made up little boxes, 10 of them. And then I set them on a table outside my side door here in Eden Hall. And then I rang the dinner bell and I said, y'all come and pick up your boxes. And everybody came and wiped out all my boxes, took all the wax and tools and everything home. And we sculpted remotely for 2 damn months until we could finally get together and cast our bronze last quarter. So I hope that that doesn't happen this quarter. I can't, my crystal ball is kind of cloudy right now. And I can't tell you what's going to happen next week, but we're going to get introduced to the class this week and get you guys starting to think about what kind of a sculpture you're going to make. And then you have to do a little bit of research and decide what your own sculpture, what your own composition is going to be, because this is a 200 level class. This is an Art 244 class. So we're not all going to be making the same thing in this class. I'm not going to give an assignment and you're all going to have to sculpt a widget and the widget all has to look the same. Instead, you guys get to be the authors of your own project and come up with your own sculpture idea and take it through to a sculptural completion. And we have to do that in about 5 weeks. So it's a hurry up, jump in and sculpt kind of a class. This class is kind of about, it was designed for people who have had some background in arts, crafts, or sculpture before. So yeah, okay. So far, any questions? I'm going to go back to the syllabus page in my Laker link and just look at the syllabus really quick with you guys. But if you have a question, go ahead and unmute your mic. I'm looking at the participants list, and when mics become unmuted, I know somebody wants to say something. And not seeing that happening, I'm going to go back to the syllabus. So just bear with me for a second. We are sharing the screen. I'm in the syllabus thing right now. So hopefully you guys can see the syllabus page. I'm not throwing the syllabus up here as text in the text version. I'm in the downloadable version of the syllabus. So you have to click on this link right here to open this up as a Microsoft Word document. So you can look at my beautiful syllabus the way that, you know, God and I intended it to be. So I'm going to click on that and see if it actually opens it up. And of course, I have to stop the share because you probably can't see that. And then I have to go back into screen share and find that page and share it again so that we can look at it together. So anyway, welcome to Art 244 bronze casting. I got to make you guys smaller because I can't see my syllabus because there's all these heads in the way. So my contact information is up here at the top of the page. And it doesn't, yeah, it does allow me to zoom. Look at that. What a deal. Okay, not quite so much because, but okay. So the class schedule and location of the class, my office hours are here, my contact information is here, my email address, my telephone. I have an office hour that I have every day, Monday through Friday. You can just drop into it by logging into the office hour Zoom meeting in our main page in my Laker link will take you right to me. Any noon hour that you have a question that you want to ask me in person or something would be great. I have a textbook. It's called From Clay to Bronze by Langland, and it was published after I got out of grad school in the 1990s. And for me, it's actually a very nice comprehensive book on bronze casting. So if you ever wanted to know the equivalent of a master's of fine arts degree in bronze casting, this is a really good book to get. It's not required for the class. It is not a required text. It is a recommended text. So we're going to do bronze casting in this class, which means we have to sculpt a sculpture directly in wax for the lost wax casting process. So the first 5 or 6 weeks of this class, we are going to be sculpting a small wax sculpture. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to take a step-by-step through that process. Then the last 4 weeks of this quarter, we are going to take that little wax sculpture and take it through the lost wax casting process to make a mold around it and cast it in bronze. And then we're going to be grinding and polishing on the bronze to finish it up at the end of the quarter. It'll be wonderful. What can I tell you? So I've got some course outlines, and you guys can read these in your bathroom because this is wonderful bathroom reading for later on in your life. I do want to tell you that I have updated my student evaluation process. So the grades for this class, the grading for this class, I had to tighten this up a little bit because I had some baseball players last quarter that were really abusing the class. And they, at the end of the class, they said, well, I made a sculpture and I got it cast. And it was such a piss poor sculpture that, they were trying to get an A out of me, and it was not A level work. So I needed to be a little bit more precise. So to get an A in this class, you need to do masterful completion of the assignments with excellence in attendance and work habits. And for B, you complete the assignments and you demonstrate good attendance and work habits, and your sculptures are okay. They don't roll my socks up and down, but they're okay. But C, D, and F in this class are possible. You don't take an art class because it's just an easy A. So you get a C in the class for mediocre completion of the assignment, missing a little bit of attendance, not cleaning up after yourselves, leaving early from the class, that kind of stuff. And then it proceeds from there. You get a D in the class with poor completion of the assignment, poor attendance, bad work habits, or if you're disruptive in class. And you can even earn an F in the class if you just don't finish the assignment. That's less than 70% engagement in the course. Your attendance is terrible, and the assignment is uncompleted. So it is possible to fail my class. I just wanted to throw that out there for you in case there was any question. You can read the rest of this stuff, but I just needed to cover a couple of things in here because you guys are paying a lab fee to attend this class, and you did that when you registered for the class, but there will be a casting expense on top of the lab fee. So the lab fee covers the use of all of the tools and abrasives and everything in the classroom that I've got, all the grinders and everything, the personal protective equipment that I'm going to supply for you guys and everything. But your actual bronze casting is going to cost you $8 per pound, which is going to include the cost of the wax, the ceramic shell mold material that we are going to use, the actual bronze, and any patina chemicals that we use. So the bronze price is updated bronze prices for 2020, which is pretty close to now. If you don't pay your casting bill at the end of the quarter, that can lead to an F grade and or sending you guys to a debt or collections agency. And don't worry, most of us are going to make a sculpture that's going to cost $20 or less. So I'm trying to get you guys to know that big sculptures cost a lot of money, and medium to small size sculptures don't cost nearly as much money. So that's an important thing. I do have a casting limit here. So if any of you are actually professional artists who are gearing up for a gallery show and think that you're going to take my class so that you can get me and the rest of the people in the class to work as slave labor to get all of your pieces cast for your upcoming gallery show, that's not going to happen. You guys are limited up to 3 pieces or one large piece kind of made out of several castings and then welded together. So that's the casting limit for this class. And we'll talk about more of that as we get there. This paragraph in the middle of the page is my escape clause. And this is directed at the professional artists who want to take this class and kind of abuse the privilege of taking the class. So the sculpture created in Art 244 is intended for educational purposes only. The aim of this course is to develop professionalism in emerging artists. While it is understood that the exhibition and occasional sale of artwork is a legitimate part of the educational process, established professional artists, those who derive their livelihood from the sale of their work, may not use Art 244 as a means of inventory production. So it's right there in the syllabus in black and white. I wanted to let you guys know about that. The other thing that's really important to let you guys know about is that there are unpleasant conditions that we're working in when we're working with bronze casting. So here's your warning about industrial hazards. There will be unpleasant fumes. You'll be exposed to things like latex, noise, dust, power tools, hot wax, flame and metal that can cause burns, nitric acid that can cause chemical burns. All of those kinds of things will be used in this class. So if you have a sensitivity or intolerance to light industrial conditions, you should carefully consider that before committing to Art 244. And we have an attached refund policy on page 4. I have developed a calendar here that's 10 weeks long plus finals week that should give you a good idea of the activities that we're going to do each week and what it takes to get the sculpting made in the first 5 weeks of the class and then the bronze casting done in the second 5 weeks of the class. And you can read that in detail at your leisure. So I'm going to stop the share and come back to you guys to say hi and welcome anybody who came to the class a little on the late side. And okay, so anyway, that's the syllabus in a nutshell. You know where to find the syllabus in my Laker link under the syllabus tab, and it's downloadable, it's printoutable, and you can take a look at it if you really like syllabi and reading syllabi. That would be great. Any questions so far? Please go ahead and unmute your own mic and let me know if you have a question. And there's one. Hey, Will. What's
Hey, it's going pretty good. I was just going to ask, I know this is pretty far out because we're not going to start casting till you said after week 5. Is there anything clothing wise that would be appropriate in the shop?
Oh yeah, I'm going to ask when we get to that point in the 6th, 7th week of the class, I want you to wear, blue jeans, work shirts, a work jacket if you have such a thing, but at least a sweatshirt to protect you. I do have a couple of leather jackets here, leather welding jackets that I can loan out to people. But when we're grinding and polishing on the bronze, or if I get somebody to assist me in the actual bronze casting process, we're working with 2000 degree metal that we're pouring out of a crucible into the molds. And so there's heat, there's danger. And so we have to wear protective equipment for that. So if I want you guys to hopefully have, blue jeans and some kind of work shirt kind of a thing. Even t-shirts and sweatshirts work as work shirts when we get to that point. But if you happen to have a blue jean jacket, a Carhartt jacket, some kind of a work jacket or a barn coat or something like that would be good for that part of the process. How's that? Pretty good, huh? Okay. Let me dive right into the next thing because we have to dive. So examples of what I'm talking about. I have several cameras here in my workspace, and so I've got overhead cameras and I've got side cameras and stuff. And I'm going to turn on my side camera right now. I want to welcome whoever just rang the doorbell and come in to bronze casting. We're trying to talk about what's going on in the bronze casting class. And so I just changed cameras from talking head view to looking at my workspace here so that I could talk about certain things that are examples of what we're doing here. This little person is a bronze sculpture. Hooray. This is really about as good a little figure as you could possibly make for your first bronze sculpture ever. This was made by a person who was a wrestler on the wrestling team. He got his girlfriend to pose for him, and he did a wonderful little sculpture rendering of her. Since we only have 5 weeks and the size is only about 6 or 7 inches tall, he couldn't get into a lot of detail. So you might be able to see that the face doesn't have any facial features on it. It's just an abstraction. It's just a round facial featureless face. But as an abstraction of the human figure, it's really nice. It's a round form that goes along with all the other nice round forms, breast forms, belly forms, buttocks forms, and everything else that are really nice and rounded. And it was a really nice sculpture. And then, in the last week of the quarter, he broke up with his girlfriend and it broke his heart. And so he left it for me, which so means that I now have it as a lovely little sculpture that I can show as a demonstration piece. You do not have to make a figurative sculpture in this class. I happen to be a figurative artist and I make figurative art. And the demonstrations I'm going to do are going to be about my figures. And so, I'll be sculpting on wax patterns. This is a wax sculpture that I am sculpting on, and I've been demonstrating on this piece for 10 years now. This piece may never get done. She seems to be riding this little bird. This is a kind of a Hieronymus Bosch, an ode to Hieronymus Bosch kind of piece. So I'll be demonstrating with a piece like this. But when I talk about the bronze costing you guys $8 per pound, and I put this on a scale and weigh this one is less than 5 pounds. This is like somewhere between 2 and 3 pounds of bronze in this little sculpture. The forms are fairly linear. The sculpture is solid. It's solid bronze, and it has a solid bronze base that I just, welded the foot onto to make her stand up really nicely. But at $8 a pound, a 3-pound piece would cost $24. So, this sculpture would cost you $24 for the materials in it at the end of the quarter. And so I just want you to know to try to keep the size of your sculpture relatively small, and to try to keep things to be not really huge and round and volumetric and solid, because huge round volumetric pieces add up really fast. A case in point, let me show you this piece that was done last quarter. I had to break this into several pieces and cast it in several pieces. The sculptor, the student, wanted to do something that was like a Pegasus, a winged horse. And he abstracted this winged horse, or he wanted to do something naturalistic representational and just couldn't get it there. So we've got this 4-legged, animal that is solid bronze, and the wings that were kind of abstracted into individual feather shapes that are solid bronze. And this head wound up being like the head of a cat. As you can see, it's no longer Pegasus anymore. It is now like Catasus, okay? And there's nothing wrong with Catasus, really. The cat, head on here is quite nice and everything with the bulgy eyes and everything. But this is a baseball-sized solid piece of bronze, and it weighs 8 pounds or so. This whole thing weighs 15 pounds, and 15 times 8 is $120. So at the end of the quarter, his heart wasn't in this piece because it really didn't turn out the way he wanted it to. He put in a lot of time and effort sculpting this thing in wax, casting it in bronze. But I said, you know, you do not have to finish this sculpture. If you really don't like this sculpture, I'm not going to make you pay for $120 worth of bronze. I can melt this back down in the furnace and recycle all of this bronze. And so I'm going to be able to do that. I can cut this apart with my chop saw into pieces small enough to fit back into the furnace again, and I can melt the whole sculpture down and do that. But I can show you that, you know, this piece here, including its solid head, 15 pounds of bronze, $120 for this sculpture versus this piece here, which is much more linear, not nearly the large cross-sectional pieces as in this piece here. And this is like a $24 to possibly $30 sculpture. So as the size goes up, the cost goes up exponentially. So be careful. That's one good way to try to check your ego at the door, your artistic ego, is to not make such a goddamn big sculpture. Excuse me, but I just had to say it, because 9 times out of 10, you won't want to pay for it. And I'll wind up having to recycle the bronze. And I want to save myself that kind of work and worry. I'm going to change camera angles again to do the, let's see, overhead cam if I can. So I have this overhead bird's eye cam of my workspace here that I can talk about too. And so this was a project that I worked with my son about 6 years ago. We were making slingshots. We were looking at the slingshot channel and looking at all of the interesting cast slingshots he was making and marketing. And we said, you know, I can make that. I can make a slingshot. And so we sculpted a slingshot in wax and cast it in bronze, and it fits the hand really nicely with these finger grooves, and you just get a really wonderful purchase on this slingshot. And then you have to kind of create the banding for it. And they sell slingshot bands and slingshot pockets and everything out there. So you can build and make a slingshot if you want to. This is the first non-figurative piece that I'm talking about. So you can do things that are abstract. You can do things that are non-representational and non-figurative. And you can do things that are machine parts or something else. A lot of gunsmiths and gun guys like to recast some of the pieces and parts off of their hunting rifles in bronze. You know, there's butt caps on the bottom of a grip panel, or, you know, buttstock things. Some people like them in metal, some people like them in bronze. So those are possible things that you can do in this class. Here is a beautiful tiny sculpture, and I just wanted to talk about this. This is kind of like a fertility piece, a fertility figure. It's abstract. It kind of harkens back to the kind of fertility figures that were done 15,000 years ago in Europe, just at the end of the last ice age. That might have been carved out of ivory or stone or something like that. And the person that did this was a nurse at the hospital. She made this piece about 20 years ago and left me one. I thought it was just wonderful. She called them coffee table goddesses because they were so small and intimately scaled. They were really nice for the coffee table. I think of them almost like a worry stone, because the intimate scale makes them, you know, fit in the palm of your hand, and you can feel it. You can grasp it and hug it and hold it and everything like that. And I just wanted to point out too that you don't have to make large scale pieces in this class. Small, what we would consider an intimately sized piece, is perfectly nice for this class. And you could make 3 or 4 of these kind of things in the time that it takes you to sculpt one of these sculptures. And then, you know, these things would cost about $1 a piece for the amount of bronze that's in them. And so, you know, then you'd have 3 or 4 pieces that you could give away to significant others or other people, or sell them or whatever. So the scale of the piece, you know, doesn't matter. You can go very small or you can go larger. The amount of naturalistic representation does not matter. You can be abstract, or you can be much more naturalistic and representational in your sculpture. It's however you want to interpret this. So that's up to you. I'm going to turn to a totally non-objective, non-representational piece right now to just talk about it for a little bit, because most of my students do not do something that is non-representational, but this person was playing with turd shapes the entire quarter, squishing wax between his fingers, making turds. And I could not figure out what he wanted to do with it. And finally, he kind of joined all of these sausage, not cylindrical, kind of cylinder kind of shapes together into this very organic kind of a form, which actually turned out to be quite nice. It's fairly linear, so that it's got a lot of negative space in the middle of the form. The sausage shaped cylindrical pieces kind of form this window, which creates this sacred space in the middle, and it's got a couple of arms that kind of reach in from both sides, which is really nice. It springs off of one kind of stem down here at the bottom, and then we put it onto a piece of oak wood base, and countersunk and counter drilled the hole in the oak, drilled and tapped the hole into the bronze so that the bolt would screw up through the base and into the bottom of the bronze. And it turned out to be just the nicest little sculpture. Only problem was, he, like so many of my other students, didn't have any money at the end of the quarter to pay for it. And so once again, I wound up with this wonderful demonstration piece that I can share with you guys now. So you could do a non-objective, non-representational abstract piece if you want to do something like that in this class. I'm going to come back to my talking head view for a moment, because it's me, the talking head, with the sculpture that I was talking about. I wanted to meet and greet the people who came in here just a little bit on the late side to see if I can still figure out who they are. Let's see, is there anybody here? Akela is here. Welcome, Akela. Did you take my class before, Akela? Do I know you? Did you take sculpture before? Let's see, where is Akela in here? I'm not seeing you. Oh, there you are, Akela Young. There we go. Gotcha. Okay. Welcome to the class. Robert Green, I got him. Anybody else I don't recognize from before? No. Okay. All right. So, anyway, size and scale of the sculpture really matters. I really want us to be thinking in terms of something 6 inches tall to possibly 8 inches tall. That would be from the top of this fingernail to the bottom of this finger is about 8 inches tall. This person struggled mightily with this sculpture. This is an abstraction of the Eiffel Tower, if you can't recognize it. And of course, suddenly it comes into perfect focus when you can see it. And she could not figure out how to make this thing, and bought a model of the Eiffel Tower and everything else. And finally, we just took some slabs of wax and traced out this shape 4 times on 4 pieces of wax and welded them together along the corners, along the edges where the 4 pieces of wax came together. So we wound up with this hollow form that was this just beautiful kind of abstraction, this modernist interpretation of the Eiffel Tower. This is a fabulous sculpture. I love this piece. Again, she didn't have the money at the end of the quarter to buy her sculpture. And, I keep these things for years and years in case you guys ever show up again looking for your old sculpture. I keep the nice ones so that I can sell it to you, because I don't want to keep this forever, but it's a really nice demonstration piece. And it shows you something that is geometric, abstract, and yet harkens to a piece of architecture, in the real world, a famous piece of architecture. I have a lot of boys who make a lot of snakes, and so here's a rattlesnake with fangs on it. Oh my God! Now this is not light. This is solid. The head is solid. The coils are solid, and so this piece is, this is 4 pounds of bronze. So we're talking $32 here for 4 pounds of bronze at $8 a pound. And again, I have it because the guy didn't pay for it and he left it behind at the end of the quarter. So I just wanted you to see the range of kinds of things that you can make in this class. I'm going to talk about my own work for just a moment to let you know what I do. And if it is offensive to you, to also give you a chance to be able to, drop the class or go someplace else. If you find me, my personality or my artwork, to be offensive, I understand because I am kind of offensive. Okay,
I have a quick
so,
question for you.
Aurora, what's up?
Hi. So if we want to do a bigger piece kind of like this, is there a way to make them hollow?
Yes. Could you indicate the size again?
I saw the one that you're showing on screen right now
Yeah.
last quarter. So something along that size or slightly bigger even. Just is there a way to make larger sculptures cast in bronze hollow?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like we did in the sculpture classes that you were in, we could, this is a reclining figure. It sits like this, and this is the front side, the top side of the piece. A person could cut into the back of the torso and totally hollow this out. We could cut into the back of the head and totally hollow that part out. We could even try to carefully cut out the contours of the back and kind of save that as a piece that could get welded back into the back, but the piece could be hollowed out in the thick cross-sectional pieces. The torso and the head are the thickest cross-sectional pieces. The thighs and the legs are more linear, and so it really doesn't pay to try to hollow something like that out. Now, having said all that, a piece like this that does not have a base, that is self-supporting, that just sits on the pedestal or on the deck all by itself, this is only going to weigh about 10 pounds. So maybe $80 for a piece like this. It is probably twice as big. Let's see if we can get these two together. It's probably twice the mass, of this piece that's kind of $32 or so. So this is somewhere in the $60 to $80 range, and as a solid bronze sculpture. So that would be something to think about in terms of relative size. But you can see how much more detail you can get into in a piece that, if this was a standing figure, this would be 16 inches tall. And this standing figure is 8 inches tall. So it's about, in all proportions, it's about twice the size of this piece. And with this size, yes, I could sculpt eyes and nose and nostrils and lips and all kinds of body details and everything in this piece, hair texture and everything else. Now, I have to warn you, but I know that you're up for the challenge. There's going to be like 60 or 80 hours worth of sculpture in a piece like this. If you want to go something that is naturalistic, representational, proportional, with texture and all that kind of stuff, there's a crap ton of sculpting in this that is outside of the normal class hours that we're going to be meeting. So I just wanted to
I have
put
to
that
have
out there.
something to entertain me for 10 weeks.
You're crazy. Okay, well, that sounds like fun. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so my sculpture. I'm a naturalistic representational sculptor, and I've got a couple of pieces, and I think I'm going to change camera angles again to talk about this stuff. I've got several pieces here to talk about. So here's a little one. Here's a little figure that is the same scale as this standing figure. So this seated figure is smaller scale. And so cast, this would probably run a person, in the, $20 to $25 range for the amount of bronze that would be in this piece. I happen to work with a relatively slender model, and it runs me less bronze than when I work with more curvy people. It's just one of those things. But I even wanted to talk to you guys about stuff like a cat, a long-necked cat, kind of an abstract, kind of stylized cat. I mean, you can do bunny rabbits, you can do cats, you can do all of that kind of stuff. And what is he talking about? What is James talking about? Well, I'm going to dive into his share screen again and show you what I'm talking about. Where is it? It was supposed to be here. Let's see. Oh, it's here. I see what I got to do. I got to go here, and then I got to go, no. Excuse me. Stop the share. Gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. Where is that? I think it's here. Let's try that. No, it's not that either. That's stupid. Okay. I have all of this stuff up on my, I got to try one more time before I give up on it completely. Where did I put that stuff? Is it here? No, it's not there either. This is embarrassing, you guys. I'm really sorry. I have a bunch of videos up on my board. Show all the windows. Show me all the windows. Where are all the windows? Well, I'm not seeing them now. This is really making me mad. Okay, well, fine. We're going to stop the share. I'm coming back to you guys because I wanted to show you a video or two about looking for doing a Google image search to let's see. I guess I'm going to remove your pin. So sorry, I got you pinned here. I'm going to remove your pin, so I'm back here. So I do a Google image search when I'm interested in researching sculpture. I will just go to Google and I will type in bronze sculpture, and then I'll type in a search term like baseball player or bunny rabbit or cat. And then, you know, the search is done, and then I click on the images thing, the image tab up there, so that I'm just looking at all of the images for cast bronze cat sculpture and looking for, you know, things that look interesting to me or something that I might want to work on. And I steal the best ideas. In fact, most artists know that the best ideas are stolen. And so you can be, in fact, you know, this class is the only class, you know, in college that allows you to steal ideas. Plagiarism is the only way that artists work because there's nothing new under the sun. And we need our inspiration. You're going to be reinterpreting this thing through your own fingertips and your own sensibilities anyway. So it's not really plagiarism, but it is a really strong inspiration. So you can go out and look for things that are of interest to you using cast bronze, and then fill in the blank. So if you're a volleyball player, you can do cast bronze volleyball players, and you can look at cast bronze volleyball players all day long to see if there's something that is doable for you. If it's inspirational to you, if it's something that you can do, that's fine. I'm a figurative sculptor. I work in the figurative nude tradition of sculpture, and this does not offend me. This is okay for the class. You can do a nude in this class if you want to. The only thing that I ask you to do is to make it interesting, artistically challenging, but not pornographic. You know, I want to be right on the edge where I want it to be interesting, artistically interesting. It can be provocative. I don't want it to be porn. I don't want it to be obscenity. I hope that we can figure out what the difference of those things are. I grew up in the 1970s when the Supreme Court was really worried about the difference between obscenity and non-obscenity, and lots of cases were before the Supreme Court. And, you know, it's like it has to, you know, deal with community standards, and I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it, kinds of ways of talking about it. We want to ennoble the world with good sculpture that is transcendent, that is about the spiritual transcendence and the heroic nature of the human figure. And if your image does that, then that's great. And so I don't have to worry about most of you guys, but I always like to say that on the first day of class, so that I can kind of tell you that the sculpture that we're doing in here is supposed to be serious, and or it can be funny, but it just it needs to have some kind of semblance of good taste. God, I dug myself into a hole that I couldn't hardly dig myself out of. Okay, let's entertain questions from everybody, because I'm sure you have lots of questions for me now. Please go ahead and unmute your mic. And if there's a question that you have about this class, or who was that? Where was that? didn't see that
Did you
person.
pass a cat?
Where are you? Amanda, yeah. What's your question?
Oh, I just saw somebody pass a cat. So I'm wondering if there's a cat pass.
Somebody's passing a cat from one frame to the next in the Brady Bunch that we have here. It could be. We're passing the cat from one frame to the next. That's pretty cool. Your cat will not sit still for you. You cannot sculpt that cat, or I mean, you can, but you can't use that cat as a model unless you take a photograph of it. Which gets me to the last thing that I'm going to talk about today. This is a wonderful segue. I'm glad I invented this segue. Okay, or stumbled into this segue. The way that I work is that I like to use some kind of a photographic image. I work with models, I photograph models, I print out the photographs, and I alter the photographs so that the people are not recognizable. This is not a perfect, wonderful photograph. This has been photoshopped so that it's had a filter or two applied to it, as has this one. This has had a drawing filter applied to the photograph to try to soften the image enough so that it's not just a stark photographic image of a nude, because we have to deal with this stuff, and I don't want this to be shocking or difficult for you guys to deal with. But the point is, I do have a point here, and it is, oh, here's that damn cat. Here's that damn cat, by the way. I have a point here, and the point is that you need something to have a visual reference to make your sculptures with. You can't just sculpt things out of your mind's eye or out of your imagination. You actually have to have some kind of visual reference to sculpt from. So I want you to use Google Images to try to find an image that is interesting to you that you might want to use as the basis for your sculpture. Download it, print it out as a hard copy on paper, so you've got the damn thing to be able to refer to. And if it happens to be a sculpture that it has several views of the sculpture, a back view, a side view, a front view, print those out so that you have multiple views so that you can sculpt this thing in the round. That's the whole point of this project, is that it's three-dimensional. It's sculpture in the round. It's not just one image from one viewpoint. We have to try to extrapolate from one viewpoint, one vantage point image into a three-dimensional object so that we can, actually make this thing. And, it's three-dimensional. It has multiple sides, and we have to be able to synthesize and integrate all of those sides together into a three-dimensional solid object in wax that we're going to then take through the bronze casting process and cast in bronze. So this week, your assignment is going to be to do Google image searches for the things that are interesting to you. If you like art and there are certain kinds of art that you like, go look for those kinds of things, and you can, replicate something like that. And if you don't know anything about art, then you're going to have to, in a big damn hurry, come up with an artistic idea of something you can do. And it can be as silly as a stylized cat, or it can be as demanding as a naturalistic representational figure. It's all about what you think you can do in the next 5 weeks, because you have 5 weeks to do this. And at the end of 5 weeks, I need wax sculptures that are finished and ready to go so that I can take them through the casting process with you. So try to keep your ego in check as you're trying to figure out what kind of a sculpture you can make. And hopefully you'll be able to make a sculpture that has, the right size and scale, and something that appeals to you, something that you actually want to, cast in bronze and keep, because it's going to be a really nice sculpture when you get done with it. And that's the whole point of this process. As a 200 level class, everybody gets to create their own sculpture based on your own, artistic aesthetics, your aesthetic sense, or the kinds of art that is interesting to you. I'm not making an assignment, except that in 5 weeks, you have to have something in wax that we can cast in bronze. So having said all that, I'm turning back to the participants list to see if there's any more questions about this. I hope that I've been able to scare away some of you from this class because this is way too difficult. Well, this is way too hard, and you really don't want to be here. But if I haven't been able to scare you away, welcome to bronze casting, welcome to the art department. And I will get going next time on some demonstrations of how to work with wax. It's still going to be an online class on Wednesday night. And so I'll be demonstrating then. I'm also going to be putting together 18 kits of sculpting tools, wax, and wax hot boxes to try to get you guys all to be able to have a kit that you can pick up from the west door of Eden Hall. The best way to get here is to come to the furthest low parking lot at the back end of the school, and then to walk up the stairs to Eden Hall. My table and my door is right here at the top of the stairs, and that's where all of these boxes will be. I won't have them ready, today or tomorrow, but whenever I get them ready, I will definitely send out an email to everybody and ring the dinner bell so that then you can come and pick up the wax, the tools, and the materials that you're going to need to sculpt in wax a sculpture. Okay, that's going to do it for tonight. I'm going to hang out here for a couple of minutes to answer any questions for anybody who wants to hang out. McKenna wants to ask me something. Otherwise, the rest of you guys can go away and say bye-bye. But what is it, McKenna?
So for Zooms, I know you said that there's going to be like a YouTube link that we can watch, but are we going to lose like participation points? Do we have to like do anything specifically to make sure we watched it?
You know what? You were kind of trailing off there at the end, but I can answer the question. You're not going to lose participation points if you're not here for every minute of every class period. Just you asking the question shows me that you're a more serious person, serious student, and I may not have to worry about you quite so much. But I will be checking in from time to time to see how your progress is coming on your sculpture. And if you haven't started a sculpture in the first 3 weeks of the quarter, then we're going to have a problem. But are you an artistic person? Did you take art classes in high school? Do you like making drawings or sculptures or ceramics?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I took like some art classes, but nothing like serious.
Okay. Well, good. I'm going to hold your hand figuratively, not literally, and walk you through this process. I'm going to do that for all 18 of you people that are here in this class. We're going to make fire-breathing, crazed maniac sculptors out of all of you in about 5 weeks, and it'll be fun. So I'm going to say goodbye for now and let you guys all log off. And if there's anybody else who wants to ask a question but doesn't want to ask it in front of people, you hang out for a minute or two and you can ask me your question. Okay, so everybody else go away, and I'm going to talk to Akela now. Hi, Akela.
Oh my God, no, I didn't want to talk. I was just going to say thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time. We're going to do this again on Wednesday night. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So McKenna, Abby, Akela are all here. Must be all the volleyball players.
Oh,
I don't play volleyball. I'm just going to say thank you so much. I'm really excited to be a part of your class. So.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that this is exciting because
I'm hopeful that it's going to be in person because I was like really excited that it's going to be in person. And so, yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be in person.
I hope it's going to be in person too. Are you an art major? Do you have art experience in the background?
Oh, not at all.
No, it's like a deer in the headlights. Oh no, I'm an art person. Don't worry about it. We'll get you up to speed in about 4 or 5 weeks. Will, what's up?
So I'm personally not like a drawing artist. I'm a musician by trade. And so I was going to ask, would it be possible to cast an instrument of some kind, or would that be too difficult?
Are you talking about a miniaturized model of an instrument, or are you going to want to cast a full-size fiddle?
Probably a small little gizmo. I was thinking, like when you started talking about the hollowing and stuff, I was thinking, because I don't think it would take too much bronze to do?
No,
Like
no,
something
you-
something the size of like a ukulele, something like this big.
Sure, you can do a ukulele or a saxophone or a trumpet or something like that. Hell, you could make the whole orchestra if you want, as long as they were all about, the
Okay.
size of a Monopoly token or slightly bigger. So knock yourself out. That would be fine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank
Anybody else with a question for the good of the order here before we go? No, it's really nice of you to come
I'm
to
just
this
making sure
lovely
that you.
class. What's that, Amanda?
I'm just making sure that you got the both of us. We're both in your class.
Oh, there's no light on you guys, so I can barely see you, and then the person who's over your shoulder, I can't
Does this
see.
work?
That's
There we
work.
go.
That works. Okay, so who's with Amanda?
There we go.
What are you guys sitting in the dark for? You're like a bunch of mushrooms. Who's that with Amanda?
Halen Rhinus.
Rhinus, there we go. Halen. Okay, fantastic. I like volleyball players. They're good people. So welcome to the class. Thanks for being it, and goodbye. Because they're gone already. No. All right.
We're still
Well-
here.
Oh, you're still there. Okay.
Just a quick question too.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you want us to do like a drawing just so we can get started? Because I don't want to be like behind on anything.
If you draw, you can definitely do a drawing. If you want to just do a Google image search about things that you might be interested in and just download and print that out, that's a drawing too. That's all I need for a visual reference is something. So it can be a drawing if you draw, but otherwise photographs are fine.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Well, Aurora, it's just you and me now. I
I have
guess
a
we'll
question.
see you next time.
Fine. I was
coming.
gonna say I have questions though.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'll use this as an example.